What's up, Cougs? I am your host, Noah Bolter of Unorthodox Sports here on KUGR. Great to have you with us today. As you can see on your screen right there, hit that subscribe button, show us some love. We show you what the others cannot, giving you hot takes about the world of sports. But I'm not here to do it by myself. Here with me today, some very, very important and familiar faces. On my left shoulder, Mr. Asher Lind. Asher, great to have you on the show.
Always good to be here. Happy Halloween week, everyone.
Absolutely, man.
Jack back there looks so excited for some Halloween festivities.
No question about it. And then White Shaq on my right shoulder, Mr. Aaron Monson himself. Aaron, great to have you once again.
What's up, Squabbo? It's good to be here. I'm excited for another good show. Got some interesting baseball things to talk about, and I'm very excited about it.
Interesting baseball, interesting football, interesting Pac-12 potentially. If we're able to get to that point on the rundown, we have so much to talk about. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Coming up on today's show, we are going to be talking about the MLB World Series. Our updated predictions. Game 6 is currently underway. Aaron Monson will be our live update guy. Super excited about that. We've had some crazy turns and events in this series, specifically Game 4 that we're going to talk about in just a moment. Later on, we are breaking down the Seattle Seahawks' first loss of the regular season at the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday Night Football, what it means for Seattle and what Seattle needs to do moving forward to improve. And hopefully we can get into some Heisman rankings as well as college football playoff predictions. So let's start in the MLB, though. The World Series is going on. It takes priority. Aaron, let's go to you for an update.
There we go. My bad. Right, I'm good now? Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, Game 6 is going on. The Dodgers are up 3-2. The Dodgers won Game 5. And it was a good game. It was pretty close for the most part, but it wasn't anything super spectacular. However, Game 4, on the other hand, was an absolute thriller at the bottom of that ninth inning. So picture this, right? You're down 2 runs. The score is 6-7 in the bottom of the ninth inning. You got 2 runners on base, Kiermaier for the Rays and Arizona as well. So Kiermaier was on second base and Arizona had walked and gotten onto first. And so a pinch hitter comes in for the Rays. His name's Brett Phillips. Never heard of the guy before. He's 0 for 3 in the postseason. The entire postseason, he's 0 for 3. Has not come in to hit that often at all. And so he comes up to bat. That counts 1-2 with 2 outs, right? And this is against Kenley Jansen, who, has a reputation for being one of the best closers in MLB baseball. However, he has not had that great of a year, and I think that came into play on Game 4. And so he throws a curveball, and then Brett Phillips makes contact, and it gets right over the second baseman's head, right into center right field. And so, that scores Kiermaier, so it's now a tie ball game at 7-7. However, Chris Taylor, the outfielder for the Dodgers, he bobbles it. He goes in to pick up the ground ball, but he picks his head up too quickly, and the ball doesn't make it all the way into his glove. And so he misses it, and so that advances Arizona, who's already almost at third base. The third base coach starts waving him in, which is absolutely nuts. And so Arizona had actually tripped on his way to home plate. And so the relay to Max Muncy, he took a little tumble. He rolled a little bit. He took a tumble, and then the relay to Max Muncy went fine after he bobbled it. Max Muncy throws it to the catcher, and the catcher doesn't catch it either. The catcher was already halfway moving to try to tag out Arizona at the plate, but the ball didn't hit his glove. It hit his glove. It didn't stay in there. And so Arizona slides in, and the greatest part about that slide was that he goes in head first and just stopped at the plate. His hands barely got there, and so the Rays had won a super thrilling Game 4, which had tied the series. And, it was just one of the greatest things to watch. And I think I had predicted the Dodgers winning the series in 7. However, the Rays are up 1-0 right now at the top of the third. And I am now changing my prediction for the Rays in 7 because that gave me hope. That gave me hope.
Wow.
And I want it to happen so badly.
If the Rays lose in 2 hours, you're going to look foolish, Aaron.
I'm not saying I'm not going to, but I have faith in these Tampa Bay Rays.
Hey,
I have faith.
I love the leap of faith. I love the confidence. You're the type of guy that would have predicted the Raptors over the Warriors in the finals, and you would have been right, despite a couple twists of fate that might have altered that outcome. I love it. I think the Rays are playing great ball.
Exactly. I love, and Arizona, he's hitting 380 in the World Series. He hit the home run to score in this game 6. So if he keeps playing the way he's playing, then I think the Rays have a great shot.
Yeah, Randy Arozarena, 9 home runs, 27 hits in the postseason, both MLB records, having the postseason of his career. Such a young player, too. Super exciting to see what he's able to bring to the table throughout the rest of the series and then down the road here for Tampa Bay. Asher, let's go to you. Let's get your reaction to the updated state of the World Series, and has your prediction changed at all? Didn't we all say Dodgers in 7?
I think we all did, and I, being the kind of Rays fan I am, not a bandwagoner. If it's been like that for a bit, I can explain that later. But watching that game, that was probably one of the best finishes in any baseball game I've ever seen, and I feel like a lot of people would say the same thing. Like, just the way I think he used Phillips was the 28th man on the roster or something like that.
Right.
That was his first at bat in the World Series. It's on the last out of the game too, bottom of the 9th. And he just swings right. It was a great swing too, right through the gap, and just unbelievable how that turned out. Like Aaron said, having Arozarena score the winning run too, just to cap off the game he's been having. But I think what they need to keep doing, and that's another reason they need to keep it up. I think the biggest thing for the Rays is taking advantage of the Dodgers bullpen. I think that's one of their biggest weaknesses. And so if they can keep doing that and get their starters off the mound and have the Dodgers reach into their bullpen a little, I think that'll give the Rays a good shot. And a lot of people are talking about Arozarena and all the hits he's been having too, but Cody Bellinger on the Dodgers is also in that race too. I think last game he tied for second in all-time hits after Arozarena. So he's having an heck of a postseason too. They'll need to shut them down for sure if they want a shot.
Man, so exciting to see what's going on. So, Asher, are you sticking with Dodgers in 7?
I don't want to, but I have to. I just think they just got better. They just got better sluggers. I think they have the experience. I want to pick against them really bad. I just don't think from an experience perspective I can. So I'll say Dodgers in 7, but I'm rooting for the Rays.
I'm sticking with Dodgers in 7 as well. I agree with you, Asher. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers were able to pull it off tonight, even though Tampa is off to obviously a good start. Tampa has been so resilient throughout this postseason, and you have got to give them credit where it's due in that aspect. There's a vibe going on in Tampa right now. Not just didn't the Lightning win something?
They won the Stanley Cup. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Did they win something?
I mean, technically that is something. It's not wrong.
Yeah, the Lightning won. Tampa's in the World Series, and Tampa will be hosting the Super Bowl, whether they're playing in it or not, but they believe they have a really good chance. So there's just an energy going around in Tampa right now. They're resilient. They're fighting hard. You look to the NFL, the Buccaneers, Week 1, get embarrassed by the Saints and then bounce back and start embarrassing other teams. The Rays have been doing the same thing in the World Series, just incredible resilience. The 28th guy on the roster that hasn't hit all postseason gets 2 RBIs when it matters the most and 2 errors by the Dodgers. So anything can happen in this postseason, especially in a bubble. So you love to see it. It's a great state for baseball just in general. And I am unfortunately sticking with the Dodgers in 7. I don't want them to do it, but I think that they do. And I'm not ruling out Tampa Bay getting it done though in 7, as anything can happen, especially in this postseason. Is there anything else you guys want to add to the MLB conversation, Aaron, Asher?
No, not really. Just that Dodgers have a man on base right now in the bottom of the 3rd. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it right now.
I'm kind of looking forward to talking about y'all.
Chris Taylor, who bobbled that key throw.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like stalling because I don't want to start talking about the Seahawks loss this weekend. I was for the record, I was wearing a blue shirt right before the show, and we come and we get set up, and I have a green screen behind me, and the blue was too close to the green, so I had to last minute change wardrobe, and now I'm wearing Cardinals red. So it's unfortunate. It just happened to be how it worked out, but it pains me to even see this color right now, as last Sunday the Arizona Cardinals beat the Seahawks in an overtime thriller that involved 3 Russell Wilson interceptions and a myriad of other issues. Asher, you are not the Seahawks fan, so I'm going to have to make you wait. Me and Aaron are going to be depressed here together. Sad.
That's just fine with me.
I made a list of a lot of the things, not everything, but a lot of the things that the Seahawks did wrong, and these are naturally going to be my keys for next week against the Niners as we look forward. So first of all, or let me just go over some of my notes from the game. First of all, let's not forget that was one of the best opening drives in Seahawks franchise history. Watching that opening drive, it was boom, 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 completion. Did we even run on the opening drive? I don't think so.
I don't think we did.
And it was just pass after pass. And then the second drive, too, we get down there, and then we stall out. Do end up getting a field goal. But I like the hot start. 8 penalties for 78 yards. Some of these were controversial. I'm one of those guys, I want to control what we can control as an organization. Some of these penalties were controversial. Some of them were right. Some of these, we earned these penalties, and we have to fix that as an organization moving forward. We're a team that had no penalties for the first time in years a couple weeks ago. What happened to that? This week, 8 for 78, and they cost us big time in this ball game. Somewhere at very crucial times. Just unfortunate situations all around. We threw 3 interceptions. Russell Wilson, I have a critique for Russell Wilson. I know. The best quarterback in the NFL gets a critique. No more lob passes on underneath routes, please. Can we just take that out of our arsenal? I'm a little bit concerned because of Russell Wilson's height. I think maybe he just doesn't see some of the defensive backs that are lurking around some of these lob passes to the shallow routes. He's looking out to the right and he doesn't see Buda Baker. Maybe, of course, DK Metcalf, the hustle player of the year, that keeps that from scoring. An absolute animal, but.
God,
Russell
dude,
Wilson,
that was incredible.
The throw shouldn't have ever. That play, DK Metcalf should have never had the play of the year. DK Metcalf should not have had it.
The defensive play of the year.
DK Metcalf as a wide receiver has the Seahawks defensive play of the year. It's crazy.
We have to stop playing off wide receivers defensively. We have to stop giving them those first 5 yards. Our pass rush struggles, and if our pass rush struggles and we're not swatting on balls and we're giving up the underneath routes, we're going to give up a lot of completions and keep losing ball games. We had no sacks on the ball game. Our pass rush is atrocious. We need to keep featuring Lockett offensively and make sure DJ Dallas is at all the meetings this week to make sure he knows what his dang blocking assignments are. Because
honestly,
that was disappointing.
Good Lord, that was frustrating.
On multiple occasions,
Lord,
just tackles for losses and sacks because of DJ Dallas. Balls getting swatted. We got to make sure everyone's at the meetings and we know that what our assignments are. These are all things that just come to light after a loss like this, and yet we were still in it down the stretch of this ball game. It felt meant to be for a minute, like that one Niners game last year on the road, and then pick number 3. Aaron, allow me to give you the floor and share your depression with the rest of us.
I'm heartbroken, to say the least. The David Moore hold call was the finals. That was one of the reasons we lost the game, right? Because if he didn't hold, right, DK would have gotten tackled, but he would have gotten a first down. And so I feel like that would have given us a chance to actually get the ball into the end zone to end overtime quicker. But it just didn't end up being like that because go ahead.
The thing with that. And I was watching SportsCenter today, and they were talking about this too, and I completely agree. All you have to do is do the chop block like Lockett. You don't have to try and do a reach block with a wide receiver because I think I heard Shannon Sharp talking about this morning. I completely agree. You want to make sure that their hands aren't in the position to slow you down in such a fashion. Yeah. You do that by taking out their legs and making everything kind of move backwards. So you take out their legs and just go down, chop block a little bit, and. That's what it takes in that scenario, and he just you get your arms extended. You can't see where DK is. Obviously, that was the game winner, and like you said, it goes the other way because of a bad play by David Moore. Yeah,
I mean, it was just extremely unfortunate. And to Arizona's credit, the whole blitz thing after they missed that field goal, how they blitzed every time, and how we couldn't seem to figure out a way to beat that blitz. It was brilliant. Like kept on just doing it over and over again, and it just didn't work. And when the best part about that defensive play for Arizona when they rushed through his third pick was like you see 7 of them lined up for blitz, right? And then 4 of them just take off backwards. Like I didn't expect that at all, and neither did Russ. And Russ got rid of it so quickly because he thought they were going to be blitzing. And there was just nobody there. I mean, I didn't know who Russ was throwing to be fair, because there was nobody there. But
it was a bad read. It was a bad read.
It was a bad read. And and that's just how it ended up being. It's just heartbreaking. But Tyler Lockett had a hell of a day. Are you kidding me? 15 receptions, 3 touchdowns, and 200 yards. I have not lived my life to see a game where a receiver had 200 yards. That's a first for me. First time I've ever seen a receiver hit 200 yards in one game. Especially that long bomb where he toe dragged that catch in. It was incredible. Tyler Lockett is just so amazing. And he's not talked about as much because, DK Metcalf is usually his go-to. But Russ just shows that, when Tyler Lockett's open, he's got open more. He threw it to him, and it ended up being awesome to see how great Tyler Lockett did that entire game. But 3 picks, dude. 3 interceptions.
Frustrating, concerning. There is one really good bright side thing for the Seattle Seahawks that a lot of people in Seattle hopefully are not forgetting about, but I'm going to remind you guys in just a minute. First, I want to see if Asher falls for the trap. Asher, let's react. Give us your reaction and your takeaway for the Seattle's loss on Sunday Night Football.
Kind of scared. I don't want to fall into a trap here, but I'll give my reaction. First, everyone's first reaction: DK Metcalf is not human. That should not have happened. That was just absolutely absurd.
22 miles an hour. Just casual,
Yeah, everyone on Twitter was talking about how him and Tyreek Hill need to do 100-yard sprint so you win, and I'm all for that. That would be absolutely unreal.
DK Metcalf could get a ticket in a school zone. That's how fast he was running.
It's unreal how a guy that big and strong can run that fast. He had to make up a good 12, 15 yards to catch up to Budda Baker based on where Baker started that. Because Metcalf started that on the opposite slot, and Baker came over to the right side, and he still had to make up all that ground it did. I was just so impressed with DK Metcalf. Not because, defense, but what have you. The pass rush, like you were talking about, Aaron, is just still not there. And that's, I think, what killed Seattle. They're still giving up 480 yards a game, which is still dead last in the NFL. And I know you guys hate to hear that, but giving up 480 yards a game cannot win you a Super Bowl. I don't care who you have on offense. When you do that, you just can't go all the way giving up that much. Yeah. But Kyler Murray, to his credit, I think, did take advantage of the opportunity. A lot of people, including me, I think Kyler Murray could be the next Russell Wilson. I think he has the potential to do what Russell Wilson does for his team, make it better. Because Russell Wilson was the Seahawks' leading rusher in this game. Guess who the Cardinals' leading rusher was? Kyler Murray. He also had a rushing touchdown to go with it. That little juke move he does, 2 yards outside the goal line, he did that again. And it's just lethal. And he showed that there. The numbers between them are pretty similar. 388 yards for Russ, 360 for Kyler. They both now, and Kyler only had 1 pick. I think Russell Wilson a lot clearer. And they're about the same height too, I believe. Kyler Murray's 5'10", somewhere. Definitely shades of Russell Wilson. But am I doing good so far? Noah, have I fallen into your trap yet?
Oh, you're doing great. Your Wi-Fi's lagging out a little bit, but
yeah, I was gonna say you're lagging just a hair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted someone else to do it this week. But well, the offense is still cooking though, because we got 34 points on an average NFL game. Is a lot of teams expect. The NFL, they're converting on about 90% on their trip in the NFL, but they're giving up 6.3 yards of play on average. And so when teams don't even need to get third down on you, that spells trouble moving forward.
Asher, you actually didn't fall into the trap, and I'll give you credit for that. You brought up a good point.
Here?
Yeah, no, you're clear. You're not the imposter. I think it's pink over there. Pink sus. But my thing with Seattle, and I agree with you, 480 yards defensively every single game. It's not going to get it done. The Hawks are tied for 26th in terms of sacks on the year with 9, the same as Myles Garrett has by himself this year. And we're the second team all time to give up 500 yards in 3 of our first 6 games on the year, which is just ridiculous.
Yes! Woo!
To even consider. We're breaking records in the wrong ways. But the reason that this is not the end-all, be-all panic time for Seattle, the reason that the sky is not falling in Seattle, the reason that the Seahawks are still my Super Bowl favorite, is because of the move that we made right before the start of the season for Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams hasn't been here since halftime of the Dallas Cowboys game. Before the Dallas Cowboys game, we were in games, but every time we needed like a major play or something, Jamal Adams would make that play. Jamal Adams still leads the Seahawks in sacks, having not played since halfway through the Cowboys game. Last game we had no sacks. Jamal Adams only has 2. He leads Seattle in sacks right now. So when Jamal Adams comes back, he is going to be our savior and our grace, and we had better hope that he stays healthy throughout the remainder of the season, because if Jamal Adams comes back, Seattle has a chance because he is our best pass rusher. We definitely need to go get another one, but once Michael Kendrick gets here, I think that's going to be an extremely big piece. He knows the system, but Jamal Adams is the reason that the sky is not falling in Seattle, because once Jamal Adams gets there, you forget we gave up McDougal to get him, so technically we took a step back whenever Jamal Adams is not on the field, but when he is, that's a huge shifter the opposite direction. If Jamal Adams is there, we blow out, or we don't even come close to losing to Minnesota, and we don't lose to Arizona. Jamal Adams will be the difference.
Also, can I remind the both of you that I called this as one of the 2 Seahawks losses, the in Arizona game and the in Los Angeles. I did call that, so I'm just gonna say that I still have credibility where it is, I guess. And also, this is a little bit off, but Noah, I beat you in fantasy this week. For my second win. And you were my second win. I'm just going to, are you feeling okay? Like, is that another reason you're sad?
Congratulations. Yeah, no, it was not a good week in fantasy. It's just I was projected to win in like 3 or 4 leagues, and I ended up going 1-3. So it was just, it was a bad week down the wire. But, for the record, because it was such a bad week of fantasy and my Seahawks lost, you got to give this to me. My Squabble Sexy 6, my weekly betting predictions that you can find on my other channel at DJSQUABO on YouTube. I went 5-1. So 5-1 for my betting odds. I just lost everything else.
Other than that, we're good. And if you want bragging rights, Aaron, come talk to me when you're undefeated.
Okay. It's just, that's not the point. I'm crap at fantasy, and I'm enjoying my second win. That's all I'm just
I'll
trying
give it to you. To be fair, I didn't think I was undefeated. I think I told you guys this. But my opponent had Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, and the Bears defense. So I was like, okay, I need the Bears to just do absolutely terrible tomorrow. At 3 points going into the fourth quarter, I was like, okay, this is exactly what I need. And then the only touchdown they get just happens to be a fumble recovery. And that puts my opponent up by 1 point. I was like, oh my goodness, this is awful. And then somehow by the end of the game, they had a point taken away from them. I actually don't know why. But that let me win by 0.9 points. 7-0, Coach Nash going to the chip.
Wow. Wait. Asher, are you in that league with me and Aaron?
I'm not.
Oh, I was gonna say I didn't know.
You would know if I was in that league.
Okay. All right.
But so am I wrong for saying that Jamal Adams is the fix that Seattle needs defensively?
No, I would completely agree. I think that he's going to be the one that is the game-changing part of our defense, because right now we're garbage. And when he did play, it was awesome. Like, he was active. He's like a little spider monkey running around the field. Like, he's all over the place, and he's just so good at what he does. And it's going to be great to see someone with that speed and that strength make an impact on our defense.
Yeah, I agree with you too, Squabo. And to Arizona's defense, I saw this on Twitter earlier. Arizona's playing with the best pass block win rate in the league, and the second best run block win rate. And so their offensive line is just doing a phenomenal job of protecting Kyler Murray and the running backs. But I do agree with you. When Jamal Adams, your sack leader through 6 games, even though he's only 2.5 or 3, what have you, I think that'll help a lot. I think another thing they could do, which I would love your guys' opinion on this, is go out and get one more weapon for their defense, because we all know the numbers, 480 yards a game, 6.3 per play, what have you. I think one more weapon couldn't hurt them, because we saw today the Cowboys traded Everson Griffin for basically a bag of chips to the Lions. I don't know how the Lions, I'm going to go on a soapbox here for a bit. I think that was a really bad trade for the Cowboys. I think they thought it was the Lions' birthday. They gave him a running back, and the Lions basically gave him a thank you card in return. You know, when you get something for your birthday, you don't really have to do anything except write them a thank you card back. That's what they did. It was a conditional 6th-round pick, and they got a veteran pass rusher, which they definitely need, because they've won 2 in a row, and so that'll only build momentum.
That trade hurt Seahawks fans almost as bad as the loss, because Everson Griffin was on my Seahawks Christmas wish list since last season, essentially, heading into the offseason. I was like, dude, Everson Griffin. When asked who would be a more impactful player on Seattle, who should Seahawks want more, Jadeveon Clowney or Everson Griffin, I controversially said Everson Griffin, because he gets to the quarterback like Jadeveon Clowney doesn't. Now he's getting traded for a 6th-round pick conditionally to the Detroit Lions. Are you kidding me? Can we get our hands on anybody? Defensively, this is where I kind of agree with you, Asher, but not fully, because I want more than one piece defensively. I want us to bring in a lot of pieces. I need us to go trade for Quinnen Williams. I need Damon Snacks Harrison to finally show up. I need Jamal Adams to come back. I need multiple pieces. I need Michael Kendricks out there. If we had all 4 of those things, our defense would still be bad, but it would be slightly less bad.
Less bad. Yep.
So let me add this then, since you're trying to get all these pieces. What about trading for Stephon Gilmore? Do you guys see that on Twitter today?
Okay. Now, see,
I don't know if it's officially a rumor, but I think one of the NFL reporters tweeted out that in April or May, the Patriots are trying to shop Stephon.
No, and I saw that report. Let me put it like this. I feel like that's like using a Band-Aid to cure COVID. What I mean by that is a great thing for curing a lot of injuries. But our injury is the pass rush. And Stephon Gilmore does not get sacks, and that is what we need. So what it would take to get a Stephon Gilmore, we cannot afford to give. And considering we very nearly lost a trade to the New York Jets, I don't know if we should be trying to trade for a premier secondary piece from the New England Patriots unless we're trying to get bamboozled. I say we should get
rid of Trey Flowers. That's what we should get rid of. We should give him Trey Flowers for Stephon Gilmore. That's a fair trade, right?
Trey Flowers for Quinnen Williams. And let's try and get Quinnen Williams to help our front.
I just want Trey Flowers gone. That's all I want. I hate him. He's awful. He's awful.
Jeez.
I don't like him.
My thing going back to Trey Flowers. I don't hate Trey Flowers, but I feel like I could outbench him if we had a contest, to be honest. Like he's a small guy. I'm not that big, but Trey's not either. Let's talk now about our keys moving forward for this week for Seattle against the San Francisco 49ers. A little bit of bright side. The Seahawks finally had our awakening on the season. The first game of our hardest stretch and most important stretch of the season. So, moving forward here, we have to be locked in. I said we go 3-1 through this stretch. We played Arizona on the road. We had San Fran at home, and then we are at Buffalo and at the LA Rams. I'm sticking by 3-1. I'm just saying we don't lose at the Rams because we lost at the Cardinals. I say we go 3-0 throughout the remainder of the stretch. My keys to the game, as previously indicated, are going to be based a lot upon my negative notes about the previous game. So, no penalties. No penalties. Just chill out on the penalties. The ones that we can control, the ones that are on key situations defensively, the ones that are holdings offensively, where the wide receivers just don't know how to properly block for a scenario. You got to stop throwing those lob passes to underneath routes and throwing picks. Russell Wilson, no more picks, please. And then get sacks defensively. Any would be great. We got 2 turnovers. That's 2 more than we had sacks. That's just crazy to think about. We need more sacks. Let's go to you, Asher, now for your keys for the Seahawks victory.
Most of my keys would sound a lot similar to yours. They all have to do with the defensive side of the ball, and the no penalties thing obviously would be nice. But another big thing I think is the momentum San Francisco has, because on Sunday they just absolutely manhandled New England. That was one of Cam Newton's worst career games, and San Francisco just totally took advantage of them. And so they're coming in at home against a divisional opponent that has suffered their first loss of the season. So San Francisco is going to have a ton of momentum coming off a really big win against an opponent with a really heartbreaking loss, as you two have clearly shown. So I think just trying to establish the passing game, like just play your game, like you said, control what you can control. If you let Russ cook, find Tyler Lockett. If DK Metcalf has to make a defensive play, hopefully not, then go let him do that. But I think the receivers have a chance to outplay San Francisco's, because give credit to that receiving core. Brandon Ayuk has had a really good season so far. I'm trying to add him on my waiver wire in fantasy this week because I think he's a really good matchup. He's starting to blossom a little bit. The Kendrick Bournes of the game, they just don't have as much experience. They don't have the same quarterback as a Russell Wilson, But I think taking advantage of your matchups is a big key.
You're so foul for that. I'm picking up Brandon Ayuk on waivers because I like his matchup against the Seahawks secondary. Devo's probably not going to play.
I was also told to by pros on Twitter. It's not just a personal. It's nothing personal.
Oh, man. No,
I'm trying to get my undefeated streak going. I got to do what I got to do. My flex was on a bye. Laviska Shenault, who only had 44 yards. I thought he was going to do good, and then Jaguars' offense has been stalling a little bit with Minshew. Prayers up to him. I hope he starts to improve, as all Kook fans do. But Laviska's on a bye, so I had to pick someone up. No, nothing personal.
Asher, you know what? I hope you stay undefeated until the Steelers lose, and I want you to lose in the same week. And I want.
If anything, that's probably going to happen, and we can get that into power rankings. Because I'm actually really scared of my matchup this week.
As you should be. Oh, you love to hear it. How many leagues are you in, Asher, fantasy-wise?
Just one.
Okay, just one. Easy to focus on it then. Good news for Asher. Okay, Aaron, keys to the game.
Just letting Russ cook is going to be a huge one, and him not throwing any picks is also going to be huge. Just because San Francisco's defense is all right, but I feel like it's very doable to not throw a pick against his defense, especially when you're throwing to players like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, who have the ability to either outrun or outmaneuver or outjump whoever's covering them. Like DK can just get above people, and Russ knows that. He just puts it above their heads in double coverage, and DK can go up for it. I think if we utilize our run game a little more, if DJ Dallas is going to be playing again, like you said earlier, learn the blocking patterns, because good God, that was embarrassing having Russ being sacked like that so many times because of him. And the run game is going to be big, and letting Russ cook. I feel like that Russ is going to throw the ball again a lot like he normally does, but maybe rushing the ball a little more. I've been saying this for a while. I was saying we should run the ball more and utilize our run game, but it never happens. So maybe this week is the time where the Seahawks start running the ball more. I don't know for sure. Fingers crossed we have a halfway decent run game, because right now having Russell Wilson as our leading rusher is concerning to me.
I said Carlos Hyde's biggest impact was going to be against the 49ers this year. He had his biggest game last week. So hopefully Carlos Hyde can have a big impact against his former team in the 49ers. Let's shift to this now, though, fellas. Let's talk about Asher's team, and I'll let Asher take the floor first. Your Steelers are officially undefeated, as they have been since the season began. They beat the Tennessee Titans, and the Titans are no longer undefeated. Asher, what was your takeaway from that game, and how are you feeling about your Steelers?
I wish I could feel a little better. In all honesty, I think they got kind of lucky because this is one of Steven Gostkowski's worst years as far as accuracy goes, and he missed the game-tying field goal to send it to overtime. I think that's honestly the only reason. The second half, we were up 27-7 at one point. Ben Roethlisberger had, the whole team for that matter, had a great first half. Just getting able to find guys. James Conner was able to get 5-6 yards to carry whenever he wanted, it seemed, and they were looking good. And then they started letting, this is kind of one of their issues I've seen over the years, on the defensive side, they build a lead. They're not quite like the Falcons, but they let teams build come back into the game a little, and the Titans were able to score 17 unanswered. And give credit to them. Derrick Henry, he didn't have 200 yards against us, thank goodness, but he did have a rushing touchdown. That'll happen when you put Derrick Henry on the 1 yard line and tell him, hey, can you go 3 feet and score for me? I feel like 99 times out of 100, Derrick Henry will be able to do that. But this defense, and I've heard everyone talk about this on Twitter, their defense is just playing lights out. Listen to these numbers. 286 yards a game overall, best in the league. 68 rushing yards a game, first in the league. 26 sacks, most in the league still. Those are Super Bowl winning numbers right there. And it shows because they're still the only undefeated team. And yeah, you could say they could have lost a couple games here and there, but we didn't, and you just have to keep moving forward. And they're the only undefeated team right now. And I really like where they're at. Some of Big Ben's throws, I'll admit, were a little sketchy. They hit a few too many interceptions I like to see, kind of like with Russell Wilson on Sunday. But overall, I think they're in a really good spot.
Man, black and yellow are the imposters. Big Ben a little sus with some of those throws. I agree with that takeaway, but I also agree that your team is undefeated, and that's something to be applauded, and you should definitely enjoy this moment while you have it. Aaron, let's go to you for your reaction to the Steelers' victory, and are these Steelers for real?
I think that I wouldn't say 110% for real. I would say they're 90% of the way there just because of how close that game was. And, missing the game-tying field goal is a huge stroke of luck for the Steelers here, right? I mean, that is just, it's incredible. And, I mean, on the other side of things, like you said, Pittsburgh has the best run defense in the league right now. Holding Derrick Henry to 75 yards, that's nuts. That's crazy. Like, Derrick Henry's the type of guy that can rush for 120 every game, and averaging 3.8 yards a carry is a setback for him playing against the Steelers, and that's just huge. Yeah, and Ryan Tannehill played average, 220 yards, 18 for 30, and Big Ben with 32 of 49. That's an exponential increase in completions and attempts, right? Except for the fact that Big Ben only threw for 48 more yards than the Tennessee Titans did. So that was what I was confused about, is how do you throw so little yards compared when you have almost twice as many completions as the Titans did. Just all in all, Derrick Henry having a mediocre game is good. Juju Smith-Schuster, going 9 receptions for 85 yards. That's a good game, for a receiver, averaging 9.5 yards per every time he can catch the ball, the 28-yard long. I mean, having him is good. Chase Claypool, I feel like, didn't do very good at all. He had -2 yards, right? That's not. I mean,
I think that was kind of expected too, because after a rookie has 4 touchdowns in one game, I think going into the next week, that's all the opponent's going to look at on film. Be like, okay, we need to stop this guy so he doesn't.
That's fair.
Touchdowns
against us. Fair. But then again, that just
you saw the Titans do that. They would send 1 or 2 guys everywhere Claypool went to make sure he can't touch it at all. And so what does that do? That opens up Schuster, Deontay Johnson, etc.
I also feel like that's a poor decision by the Titans, though, because then you just leave Juju wide open all the time.
Yeah, and I totally agree, because we saw Juju get some really crucial third down in the fourth quarter to keep the chains moving and eventually help them get the go-ahead score. So I think moving forward, they have weapons, because we know how good Juju is, and we've all seen what Chase Claypool's ceiling is, that 4 touchdown performance. So he's built just like DK Metcalf, and he can go. Yeah, they're built very similar, same height, same build, etc., and they both have a really good quarterback with them.
Right.
Using that in a quarterback system like Big Ben, where you have one of the best deep balls in the whole league, sending a guy like Claypool 30, 40 yards down the field, to have him go up and grab a 50-50 ball. I feel like that's a good recipe moving forward.
Yeah, and Big Ben throwing 3 interceptions is scary too, right? Like that's also why I feel like this is sort of more of a lucky game for the Steelers to have won. But all in all, I mean, the Steelers have shown that they're not just any team to be messed with. I feel like at this point they're 6-0, and they're still kicking butt. And
yeah, this is only the second time they've ever started 6-0, and the other time was 78 when they won the Super Bowl that year back. Very proud.
All right, yeah, which is interesting. And so, I mean, I wish all the best for the Steelers, but I mean, I know they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. So,
you say that, but they're looking pretty
going
good so far.
They're not going to.
How would they do against your Seahawks right now? Let me get your answer on that.
How would they do against Seahawks? I think it'd be.
So let's say they went to Raymond James right now in Tampa Bay and played in the Super Bowl. How would they do?
Just for the record, Seahawks won last time we played last year. Just for the record, putting that out there.
That is fair. That's last year, though. These are two totally different teams right now.
I'm just putting that out there. Don't shoot the messenger, man. Just telling you facts.
I think it would go the same way every other Seahawks game has gone this year. Nail biting down to the wire. 400 plus yards of offense on each side. Small heart attacks throughout the game. But I just think you can't beat Russell Wilson right now, even with our god-awful defense.
Kyler Murray would love to argue with you on that one because he just beat Russell Wilson.
I don't know about that statement there.
Yeah, but I mean, I think division games are different though in that sense. And on my side, I think division games it can be a little different. But in the Super Bowl, if the Seahawks and the Steelers are playing in the Super Bowl right now, I think Russ wants it more. Personally, along with DK Metcalf,
but their defense isn't playing like it.
That's also not.
Aaron,
in the Super Bowl,
you're building a bad case. You're building a bad case. Let me build your case for you, man. I don't like.
Yeah. Okay. No. Go ahead.
I agree with your argument, but okay. The Seahawks would beat Pittsburgh, but it would be very close. It'd be an excellent matchup, and this is only if we had Jamal Adams. Defensively, you guys would give us a lot of problems. I think it'd be down to the wire, but actually, it was the last 2 times we played you guys we've actually beat you. So, I'll just put that out there.
History's not in our favor. I'll definitely agree.
But honestly, I'd be terrified heading into that game. Pittsburgh's obviously a really good team, very well coached. They're on the same page. They decided to go away from AB, and that's been a great decision for them. So just good on Pittsburgh. Let's give Pittsburgh their credit right now. Let's just give Pittsburgh their credit, even though they got lucky that the Titans missed that kick. But heading on to this week's matchup against the Baltimore Ravens, this is one of the best games of the week, if not the best game of the week. Super exciting. This is one of the better rivalry weeks. Seahawks, Niners, Ravens, Steelers. You love to see it. What are our predictions for this week's game? Who do we have winning this ball game? Asher, you're the Steelers fan. Let's go to you.
So the Steelers are going to win, and I think it'll be close because I don't know with COVID restrictions and policy whatnot. But the Ravens just added Des Bryant to their practice squad. So X is back in the league. I think he's a good addition for them. He'll give them a little more depth at wide receiver. But I still think the Steelers have the edge there. Lamar's the quarterback. We all know, loves to scramble. Steelers lead the league in sacks. They can get to the quarterback before he even gets a chance to scramble. I think they'll still have some offense, though. Lamar can give you 50, 60 rushing yards at any given point or on any day. Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown, they have some really good weapons. I don't want to say they're a bad team because I don't think they are. I think it'll be a close game. I really want to start the Steelers defense just because of all the stats that they lead in fantasy, but I just don't think our secondary is going to be able to keep up with the weapons they have on offense. And so I think the Steelers win a close one. It'll be a very similar score to our Titans matchup. I think the Steelers can get 30. That would be awesome. I'd say 30-24. Steelers. Shoot down.
6-point victory against L. Jackson, regular season MVP most recently. Let's go to you, Aaron. What are your predictions for the Steelers Ravens?
So, I mean, I do have the Steelers winning this game as well. I'm going to side with Asher on this one. If Juju or Chase Claypool get 100-plus yards, either or, with a couple touchdowns each, or like either or. If one of them has 2 or more touchdowns with 100+ yards, I think that's going to be one of the keys to victory. Finding those key wide receivers in situations like that, and having James Conner play well as well, just because he can be a threat in the backfield, and he can block, unlike DJ, and like he can just help protect Big Ben from that Ravens defense. Containing Lamar is going to be a huge part of the victory for Pittsburgh as well. They have like one of the best defenses in the league, and I think that will pose as less of an issue as if they're playing some other team. But I'm going to say Steelers 27, Ravens 23. That's going to be my final score.
It'll be close either way. I'm scared of their defense because they just added Yannick. I don't think I still can't.
Dominican Sue? Is that who it is?
Unique Ngakoue.
Oh, Unique Ngakoue.
Yeah, they got him over from Minnesota, and so you put him
makes
with
me angry too.
Marcus Peters in the same backfield. Their defense is scary, like real scary. They have some guys that can play lockdown on anyone, and so I think that's one of the big reasons it's going to be so close as I think it's going to be.
I'm concerned with how good the Ravens have done in free agency and through trades to bring in Calais Campbell, Unique Ngakoue, 2 guys I thought Seattle should look at, and barely give up dollars to dimes for these acquisitions. I like Pittsburgh. I like the Steelers. I like Baltimore. That's the thing heading into this week. I think Baltimore wins this game. I think it's 31-28. Final score, that's the one that I'm going with. Let me make sure that I write that down for my Squabble 66 for later. And to rub it in when that's the exact score that the Ravens win by. Justin Tucker will hit the game-winning field goal with about 4 seconds prior to the snap.
Ooh, specific. Okay. All right.
Yeah. No,
Asher doesn't like it, but it's specific.
I think it's going to be a really great game. I think Pittsburgh should have their heads held high heading into it. I think Baltimore is going to be extremely motivated heading into this game, knowing that division implications are huge. I love an upset. I would honestly love to see Pittsburgh win this game. I would also love to see Baltimore win, because then on Tuesday I get to talk to Asher on air, and that'll be fun. But regardless, I'm going to enjoy this game. I'm going to enjoy this outcome. Kind of like Asher watching Seahawks versus the Niners. So my final score for this game, 31-28. I like Pittsburgh. I like Baltimore. Let's talk about now our power rankings for the NFL season right now. And we only have 10 minutes to go through it, so let's kind of go a little lightning rounds. Let's go lightning. Zap.
Speed.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so I am speed. Anyway, sorry.
7th team in the league. There's seven relevant teams, 7 teams that could go to or win the Super Bowl, except not in basketball, but in football that is true. So the 7th team for each of us, I am keeping the Green Bay Packers at 7. Aaron, let's go to you.
Baltimore still. It's just a 7 like they were last week for me.
Jeez, disappointed both times.
Yeah, but I just feel like there are better teams. So.
All right, Asher.
I think you guys are going to be a little shocked at my rankings overall, but I'll be the hot take guy again this week. That's fine. I got the Cardinals sneaking into number 7. I like their win over Seattle. Hopkins leads the league in receiving yards. Kenyon Drake's 3rd in rushing yards. Those block win ratios I was talking about, they're on a roll right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just not sure how much uglier 2 losses can get than to Detroit and to Carolina right now, but other than that, those 2 little blemishes within the division, I think they're great, and they did just beat us. So we'll just see who you left out and see if we'll let that one go.
To be fair, that loss to Detroit could have been the same thing with your Seattle game if Matt Prater misses a field goal or vice versa. It was tough. It was a tough loss for them, but they've bounced back this year, I think.
All right, my number 6 team is Buffalo, even though they were in a nail-biter with the Jets, which was concerning.
No one ever.
won a game without scoring a touchdown. That's how you know you're playing the Jets. I'm keeping them on my list hesitantly. Very hesitantly. Aaron, 6 on your list.
I got Tampa Bay at number 6. Just because Tom Brady and Gronk are taking off. They're starting to do well together, and Tampa Bay, and just all those tools that they have. I'm comfortable putting Tampa at number 6.
Tampa. All right. Asher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we keep going, I just want to say really quick, I think the distance between number 8 and number 3 on our power rankings are all like inches apart. Like there are so many good teams playing good football right now, and I just want to reiterate that. Like they're like my number 6 team could be a number 3 team, honestly, depending on the matchup in the day. But either way, I have the Titans at 6. They still have the best turnover differential in the league with +9. Even after coming after a loss, I still think they have the best running back in the league in Derrick Henry. And Tannehill has been performing well, and they have a couple good games moving forward. So I still have him a little high.
Maybe best healthy running back. Christian McCaffrey might have something to say about that, but and Saquon too. But
that's why I say right now, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Playing. Okay. The number 5 team on our list, I go to where Aaron went for number 6. I say Tampa Bay. I'm not putting them higher on this list because I think there are better teams. Aaron, let's go to you.
I got Buffalo at number 5. I know that they didn't score a touchdown against the Jets, but I just think that Josh Allen is too good to not put at number 5, along with the rest of those studs they have there out there in Buffalo. So
Josh Allen's too good. Buffalo. Tom Brady's not good enough. That's why he's number 6. Let's go to
I hate Tom Brady, so that's why.
Wow.
Number 6 for the guy with 6. Aaron or Asher, let's go to you.
I think we're on 5 because I gave my number 16, right?
Yeah, we are at number 5.
Okay, I can't wait to hear you guys on next 5. I like the Rams at 5. This might sound a little weird, but they had a really good game against the Bears. I heard this yesterday. Jared Goff has the highest quarter passer rating in the league. He's starting to get some momentum. Aaron Donald has 8 sacks. They're third as a team in the league, 24 total. They're on a roll right now, and they're a half game back behind Seattle. NFC West, they have 3 5-win teams. Rams are one of them. They got Seattle in a couple weeks. They have some momentum right now.
Wow. I'd argue with it, but they're playing good ball.
Oh, I wouldn't expect any less. It's definitely a hot take here.
I mean, they're not on my list, but I could see them being up there. They just beat a 5-1 Bears team, and they did it pretty handily. Like, they dominated that game. When they're hot, they can be really good. And I think all 4 teams in the NFC West could make the playoffs legitimately.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
that's what I was saying earlier with our power rankings. Like, there are just so many good teams right now playing good football, and it's a game of inches right now when it comes to power rankings. Like, it's so close how teams are in our rankings. Like, you could mix and match a lot of them, I think.
It's given matchups. It's given day. It's given.
Absolutely.
It's given holding on game-winning touchdown. It's given
Stop.
3 interceptions.
Stop.
It's
like, move on.
Please. Yes, it's just. What's your number 4, Squabbo? What's your number 4?
I have the Tennessee Titans, number 4 on my list. I'm not dismayed by their loss because they missed a kick. Gostkowski, he has the demons right now, and that's somewhat concerning. But Tannehill is playing amazing. Derrick Henry is the best running back that is playing right now in the NFL.
And I agree, 100%.
Derrick Henry, Titans, number 4 on my list. Flip the order. Let's go to Asher for number 4.
Number 4. Aaron Rodgers I think Aaron Rodgers is at the front of the MVP race. Not necessarily the front runner, because I think Russell Wilson might have a thing to say about that. But after having 3 picks in a game, I think Aaron has gained a little momentum in that. Devontae Adams is healthy now, just under 200 yards and a couple touchdowns. That plus Aaron Jones is just absolutely lethal on any given day. I don't care who you're playing against. That's one of the best combos in football. I like Packers at 4.
3 picks, still didn't lose 38-10. Aaron, let's go to you.
Yeah. I got Kansas City number 4. The Chiefs.
Whoa.
Yep.
No explanation, just putting them down.
They're still
to
my
4.
top 7.
Oh yeah, just put the Super Bowl champions to have the best quarterback ever.
Well, my top 3, I think all 3 of my top 3 teams could beat the Chiefs. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking the Chiefs. They're still a great organization. Number 4 is not a bad spot to be. I mean,
yeah, especially right now with how everyone's playing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. They just kind of had dominated a lot of really good teams this year, and because of that, I don't know how you drop them right now. But number 3 team on my list, that's where I find Pittsburgh. I still say Pittsburgh number 3, even though they're undefeated. I don't think they're beating Kansas City, and I don't think they're beating Baltimore. If they beat Baltimore, I'll flip it, but I don't think they're going to do it. So until they do, I'm keeping them number 3. Asher.
I have the Chiefs at 3. One of the big things between them and Seattle, they're a lot less reliant on Patrick Mahomes. As we saw, it was an off day for him, but he still had 200 yards and a touchdown. They had a kickoff return for 102 yards in the snow in Denver. They also had a 50-yard pick six. Their defense is playing lights out right now. It wasn't the best offense. Drew Lock is still really inexperienced as a quarterback, but just a total dominant win. Le'Veon also looked really good. He averaged 6.5 rushes per attempt in his first game. And Chiefs Kingdom, I think the Chiefs are really, really good right now, and I got them at 3.
Aaron.
I got Seattle at 3 for obvious reasons. You know, they were going to be my number 2, but after that loss, I can't put them higher than number 3.
Oh, well, I accept your number 3 team being better than Kansas City. I accept this. Let's move on to our number 2 teams. Continue with our lightning rounds. My number 2 team, I go to the Baltimore Ravens, who I believe are going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, 31-28 on a game-winning field goal by Justin Singing Tucker. Let's go to you, Asher.
I'm going to flip. I had these in a different order, but I'm going to flip it. I have Tampa Bay at number 2 right now. I think they're starting. I think they're one of the more physical teams in the league. Tom Brady and Gronk are starting to look like their old selves in New England. They're doing 4 different Buccaneers caught a touchdown pass. He's finding all these. It's just like New England, like Scotty Miller, all these different guys. Gronk caught a touchdown pass. They're doing it without Chris Godwin coming into this week. He fractured his finger, I think. Mike Evans didn't play a whole lot. I think the Antonio Brown signing has potential. It could definitely fall off the rails, as Bruce Arians was definitely against that in this offseason. But I think there's potential there. Their defense is starting to play a lot better, too. Jason Pierre-Paul, 5th in sacks. Carlton Davis tied for 3rd in interceptions. They're able to force mistakes from opposing quarterbacks, and they're able to take advantage of those mistakes. Tom Brady, as we all know, is the GOAT. Fortunately, that's just how it is.
I love to hear it. I'm pretty high on Tampa as well. I'm not putting them higher up in the rankings, but I could see them upsetting a Kansas City down the road, and I would love to see the drama that ensues afterwards. Aaron, let's go to you for your number 2 team on your list.
I got the Titans at number 2. Just like you had said earlier, I don't think missing one kick is a good enough reason to drop them any lower, just because Derrick Henry's dominant. Best running back in the league right now because he's active. Ryan Tannehill is still doing a great job running that offense. And yeah, that's why I have the Titans number 2.
All right, and our number 1 teams on our list, let's go through it real quick. I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Asher, I think I know what team.
Yeah.
I have number 1.
Let me grab something. Oh, yeah.
As he disappears. Oh,
So
this is
while
gonna
Asher's
be, this is
gone-
going to be ugly.
Oh, back already. Look at this. Gotta rep them. Steelers.
Okay, all right.
Steelers. Might be a little biased. They're only undefeated. Best defense in the league. Number 1. I don't care if they've got lucky. They're number 1 right now.
That's my number 1 as well. I have Pittsburgh at my number 1 spot just because of their defense
Like
and
that.
the record. I'm not jumping on the Asher bandwagon. I just happen to agree with the numbers. So
I've been a Steelers fan for over 10 years. I ain't a bandwagon.
No, I'm talking about the Asher bandwagon, not the Steelers.
Oh, you're off. Oh, okay. That
The
I can
Asher
get with. That I can get with.
Aaron, a little bit controversial, man. He said the Seahawks would beat the Steelers, but then ranked the Seahawks beneath the Steelers.
We don't have Jamal Adams right now, bro. I'm just right now.
That's the key piece. That's the key piece.
Jamal is the key piece, and right when he's not active, the Seahawks are not deserving a number 1.
Okay. Very, very controversial, our power rankings, but I love to see it, and I can't wait for this week's action of football, and I can't wait to watch what happens in Game 6 tonight in the MLB World Series. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Real quick, let me give my co-host an opportunity to shout out where you can find them on social media. Aaron, let's go to you first.
At Aaron Monson on Instagram, Aaron__Monson on Twitter. You can add me, follow me on TikTok at Aaron Monson too if you like. A quick update in the World Series too. The Rays are still up 1-0 in the bottom of the fifth, 2 outs. Snell's at almost 70 pitches. I'm assuming they're going to take him out in this next inning. But that's what we got.
You'd love to hear it. Asher, where can they find you?
At Asher Blind at I think everything. Also, if you need a good picture taken, go to Aaron, as you'll see on my last photo shoot. Then you make some cool TikToks while you're at it.
Oh yeah.
You know.
He's a stud, man. Aaron, we gotta go have a shoot again. Asher, if you want to be a part of it as well, I'd love to have you.
I'm there.
You can find me at DJ SQUABO on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook at Noah Bolter, and on YouTube at DJ Scrabble or Noah Bolter. It's all like up and to the right in the upper right corner right there. Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to be here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock on KUGR's YouTube channel, also rebroadcasted on KUGR's Airways. As always, this has been your home for Seahawks, Cougs, NFL, MLB, and sometimes, actually it was supposed to be sometimes MLB, but sometimes other sports too. Like we might touch on a little bit of golf if you guys are with it. A little Stanley Cup talk as well. Sports, Unorthodox Sports.